sport that a lot of people talk about. So
Archery is
um,
different.
archery is different, but it's also I was a private school kid, so
Mhm.
every time I brought it up, I was hit with a that's a rich sport,
Yeah.
like how golf is a rich sport.
Yeah.
Like people like you think, oh, you're a private school kid, you probably do golf or you probably do archery
Mhm.
Yeah.
or horseback riding.
I'm sure archery was fun though. It had.
An archer,
Mhm.
it takes a lot to do a sport, especially for a long running amount of time.
Yeah.
Which is why one of the first things I want to ask is what first got you into track and field in the first place, and what made you stick with it?
Well, I was born in Jamaica, so track is a big part of our culture, obviously. But that wasn't the reason why I got into it. When we moved to America, I was about 4 years old, and my older brother had done track, and my goal was always to be better than my older brother in anything he did. So I started doing track, and I was pretty good at it. My parents, they really put an emphasis on doing my best and continuing to do my best, so I kind of lived by that for a while. So I never really had too much personal interest in track, although I grew to love it. Initially, I didn't love it. So that's kind of what got me into it, and what made me stick to it was the fact that I had found success in track growing up.
So you said something very interesting there. You said originally you didn't love it, but you kind of grew to love it.
Yeah.
What contributed to you, I guess, learning to love and appreciate the sport?
I feel like track is it's an acquired taste. So when it comes to the workouts, how you feel accomplishing certain things, I feel like, how do I put it into words? It's the pullback that makes it feel so good. You know what I mean? Like going through hard days and then you get to relax. I feel like that feeling is what I really became addicted to, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But that's what I became addicted to when I started doing track, and when I started to succeed and I started to run better than people I didn't run, better than beforehand. Seeing that progress really made me motivated to stick to it.
All right, it's kind of like that Mamba mentality people talk about, where you kind of get addicted to the grind.
Yeah.
Like the process, getting to that point, the work you put in is really what makes competing at a high level so great.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, getting the fruits of your labor later on through track events and beating people that, like you said, you weren't faster than prior, makes a whole lot of sense.
Yep.
It's ironically that runner's high, I guess. That's the only way I can think about it is you push yourself to a point where something becomes enjoyable, almost the success, the thrill, the high, essentially, of being in that position keeps you pushing and keeps you going, even if you're not particularly in the mood to do it. It's that motivation. It's that constant strive. Real quick, I do want to ask, what does a typical day look like for you as a college athlete?
Well, when I'm consistently in season, as I said at the beginning, it's very demanding. Like, you have to wake up, make sure you're drinking a certain amount of water, make sure you're eating breakfast before practice, because if not, you're not going to be able to survive practice. Like,
Especially not in track and field.
Yeah, you have to wake up thinking about how you're going to survive practice, how you're going to function after practice, what you're going to do when you get to weights. There's a whole lot that you have to put into it. Like I said, it's very demanding. So waking up can be very exhausting. Waking up shouldn't be exhausting, but it can be. And like I said, that reward you get from completing a workout, it's almost as if it feels like the weekend is here when you finish a workout. And it could be Tuesday. So, yeah.
That's nice. It sounds like you get a lot of enjoyment from what you do, and that's great because we're going into happy hour.
Let's celebrate our small victories, our big wins, and everything in between. It's time for happy hour.
So we talked a little bit about like the good that you've gotten from track. Is there anything else you'd like to share about like the good of being a college athlete, something you've taken from it?
Well, when I was younger, I won a lot of awards for track. Recently I haven't found too much.
Humble flex.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Those awards really do push you though when you're a kid.
They definitely
like
do.
because every kid hits that I don't want to really do this anymore, but then at the end of the season you get like 3 awards
Yeah.
for doing the bare minimum.
Yep.
And it's like now I gotta keep going. I gotta keep filling that shelf.
Yeah. And
Kinda
I
like
grew up.
It's like the positive affirmation that like motivates you.
Yeah.
And they say participation trophies don't work.
Well, sometimes they don't. in
They
my
don't.
opinion.
They do not work.
But,
I will say, I don't think they work at all, but that's a topic for another day.
Yeah. But growing up, I got so many awards that it was like, now when I'm having unsuccessful seasons, like I've had 3 track meets and I've injured myself at all 3 of them.
Jeez.
But with
Wow.
track is you got to learn to like love the journey. You know what I mean? Like it's more of, it's not about awards to me anymore. You know what I mean? I genuinely do love track. Like I'm gonna be doing track as long as I possibly can because I love it. I came back to school for accounting so I could provide for myself after school just so I can continue doing track because I love it. Whether I'm succeeding or not, I like going on the track. I like running 100 meters 50 times if I need to. Although those workouts feel deadly, I love it. And that's why I keep coming back.
Yeah, I started going to the gym recently, which is something that I do like celebrating. I started going to the gym recently, and when you first start going, it is no joke, especially when you try. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's like one of the first things I was told. Like, I feel like out of place almost with not being at the level that a lot of the other people in the gym are at. But I've been told so many times that that's okay. You're going for the first time. The fact you even showed up, swiped your card to get in, like did all that fun stuff. That is already a huge step. And I've talked to a lot of people who are like, I've wanted to go to the gym, but I'm worried about it, or I'm scared, or I'm nervous because I feel like people are going to look at me. I feel like people are going to stare at me. And going to the gym for the past couple weeks, it's really, you'll be lucky if someone looks in your direction to ask to use the machine. Everybody is so honed in on what they're doing, they can't even like fathom the other people.
And to be honest, some people, they might look at you. You know, they might stare at you. But I hate to be cliche, but comparison is a thief of joy.
Indeed it is.
So
Indeed
you
it
have
is.
to go there understanding that you're there for your own purpose, you're there for your own reason, and enjoy the journey. Don't focus too much on the destination. Enjoy each rep, enjoy each machine you touch, enjoy each time you run around that track. You just have to learn to enjoy it piece by piece, day by day.
Exactly. And to build off this, and it's funny because we're talking about track and field in this, so what I'm about to say is kind of ironic, but everyone is running their own race.
Indeed.
You mentioned that it's a marathon, not a sprint, but everybody is not on the track together. Everybody is on like a different track, running their own race, going at their own pace. There is no first place, there is no last place because you are in it on your own. So continue to move forward, continue to push forward, stay motivated. Like Davin said, don't compare yourself to anyone else. Just continue to stay the course because you know what you're after.
Exactly.
It's about you at the end of the day. So go up and kill it. And I'm really talking to myself as well because the Stairmaster been whooping me recently.
Stairmaster came. I don't know what demon made the Stairmaster.
Satan himself made
Satan
the Stairmaster.
himself
Yes.
made that Stairmaster.
It's real deal.
It's
real deal.
I'd say my favorite machine is the elliptical. I feel like that's a lot easier to use. It puts in a lot more effort than like the treadmill and stuff like that. I like using that more often. I haven't touched the Stairmaster in a hot minute. I don't plan to. You can have that. Y'all stay safe over there.
I'm committed to it. But I like I said, I am a sick individual. I fell in love with the grind when I was playing baseball in high school. I used to do 2 a days, 6 days a week.
No,
When I got to college, I kind of fell out of that. But now that I've gotten back in my rhythm, I accept the challenge of the Stairmaster. Because I remember I got on it one day because my friends was talking about it, and I was like, man, it can't be that hard. And I remember I couldn't do 5 minutes on the Stairmaster. So I was like, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna do 6.5 minutes. Then I'm gonna do 7. It's just that competitive mindset that I have. I just can't get rid of it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, being in almost like not, but like being in competition with yourself almost. It's like if you're doing this, you got to do like on the treadmill. Last night I did, I want to say a 6 incline in 3 miles per hour for like 5 minutes straight. It was exhausting, but I was happy that I even pushed through it in the first place because you do hit that like, again, the runner's high of like you hit a halfway point and it's like you feel like you're floating almost.
Right.
And then you get off the treadmill and you can't feel your legs. So it's like
It's all about that moment, though.
It's all about that
That
moment
moment matters.
that you did it, that you even put in the effort to do it. Also, protein shakes. I had my first one yesterday. They are no joke. I was buzzing.
One of the 7 wonders of the world.
One of the 7 wonders of the
What do
world.
we got there? Protein shakes, Mount Everest, Waffle House. Those are 3. What are the other 4 wonders? What are the other ones? Air conditioning.
Air
the fourth
conditioning in the
wonder.
gym
Yep.
is definitely a
Air
wonder of
conditioning.
the world.
What? Google Maps. That's 5 wonders. I can't think of the
find
other 2.
Google
I-
Maps is a wonder of the world.
I
Oh
actually
yeah, those are
have
5 of the wonder of the world. Yeah.
I
5
actually
wonders
have
of the world.
another wonder for us. This music we have coming up.
Oh, you
Smooth
guys like
transition.
tunes? All right.
And welcome back to Comfort Zone here at Wolf Radio. Before we went to music, we talked a little bit about the start of being a college athlete, kind of the highs of it, and now we're going to get into more of the lows when it comes to it. I want to ask, when did you first notice burnout becoming a real thing for you as a college athlete?
As a college athlete, it's a continuous thing. But when I was 12 years old, I quit track.
Oh.
Yeah, I was tired of it. You know, it consumed my life.
Before you quit at 12, how long had you been doing it?
Since I was 4.
Okay.
So 8 years. Like the primary time of my life, I was running track. And it got so tiring as a 12-year-old, I decided I don't want to do this anymore because I want to be a kid.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I didn't start again until my senior year of high school. I did pretty well in it. And I can't say I experienced too much burnout my senior year because it was constant success. So I didn't really have much space to be burnt out. But then almost the moment I went to college and I moved away from everything I had already known and I'm in a new environment now, it's like these workouts, they don't just feel harder, but they are because I don't have the same support I used to. You know, I don't have the same teammates cheering me on the way I did before. And it's more like competition than a family. You know, teammates are supposed to be family. I'm not saying like where I am now is, but where I was, it felt like more of a competition than family.
Wow.
So it definitely took a toll on me.
It's very interesting because, like you said, your teammates, your team is supposed to be your family.
Yeah.
So when you were looking at it, you just felt like it was more competition-based, like they were kind of use you to kind of get ahead kind of thing? Like, can you elaborate on that?
Not necessarily use me to get ahead, but it was more of like they cared more about beating me than bettering me.
Gotcha.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Makes sense.
And that's fine. You know, track is a competitive sport. You're supposed to have some level of competition, but when it's all you have for your teammates, it doesn't help in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So in the last segment, you briefly mentioned, and we kind of laughed about it,
Mm-hmm.
feeling like you have to survive every single practice.
Yeah.
Do you feel that sort of maybe mindset or feeling going into practice could maybe contribute to burnout for yourself or other athletes?
Definitely, because, you know, I said, like, there's days where you'll look forward to getting over the workout just so you can feel that reward. Sometimes I don't even look forward to going to the workout. So it's like when I'm burnt out, I don't even care for the reward anymore. I just need, like, a break. And breaks are fine to take. I'm a little hypocritical saying this, but, you know, it's important to take breaks. Very important, even if that's going for a walk, you know, going and getting a little cheat meal, going and eating some Waffle House, as you mentioned earlier. Like,
Waffle House.
it's definitely important to
Shout
take
out
breaks
Waffle House.
because
We
track.
love Waffle House here at this
Yeah, we
station.
definitely do. But, yeah, it's important to take breaks.
I want to kind of piggyback off of what Richard said. Do you ever feel like your identity is kind of tied to your performance?
For sure, 100%. I grew up only doing track, and high school only did track, college only did track. So for a long time, my identity laid in track until I started to, you know, explore outwards, realize that there's more to life than just my success in track. There's more to life than a fast time. There's more to life than a bad time. And I had to really resonate with that for a long time because if I didn't, the moment I did bad in something, nothing else mattered anymore. I didn't care.
It just ruins everything else.
Yeah, I
for
didn't
you
care if I had
beyond
good
that.
grades. I didn't care if I got a good job. If I wasn't doing good in track, nothing else mattered.
And what kind of things contributed to you breaking free from that mindset? Did it happen in your time off from the sport, or did other things help you develop that?
It kind of did happen in my time off from the sport, but I got so consumed by my success in track that I lost, you know, some people who were important to me once upon a time. I pushed a lot of people away just to kind of stay to myself and figure myself out. Because if I felt as if I wasn't succeeding, I didn't want to drag anybody else down with me, you know what I mean? So
Right.
I isolated myself and worked and worked and worked and worked. And now it did work. You know what I'm saying? My times got better. I got faster. But outwardly, like, I didn't have anything other than track. Being my
Exactly.
identity was solely in track.
It's like, what did you lose to gain that success?
Exactly.
The people you
Very
had to give up to get here.
Exactly.
I want to ask, if you were here for our mental health and marginalized communities episode, we talked a little bit about the stigma around mental health, especially in the Black community and stuff like that. Would you say that when you started experiencing those mental health complications with like burnout or stress or anxiety or something like that, did you feel like you were supported by the people around you, or was that stigma kind of there?
I feel like I never really went to the people around me for that kind of support. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just so I wouldn't really feel too disappointed if they didn't support me. So I kind of confided in myself and maybe some people extremely close to me who I knew would look out for me, and they did support me. They definitely did, but it wasn't something that I outwardly expressed too much to where I would be able to see, oh, you know, maybe my mom is supporting me or maybe my dad is supporting me. I didn't even, and maybe I should have, but I didn't even bring it to their attention too much, to be honest.
And that is one thing I kind of want to dive into here, because now I don't want to speak on your situation specifically because I don't know what all went into what you were going through.
Mm-hmm.
But I can speak on myself here. When I was battling some mental health issues going into my early years of high school, of college, excuse me. In the last segment I mentioned, I came here with the plan of continuing to be an athlete. I wanted to be a college athlete. That didn't work out, and I made it kind of seem like I just transitioned into just doing sports media only, like it was a smooth transition.
Mm-hmm.
But it really took a toll on me mentally because baseball was all I'd known for so long.
Yeah.
And I kind of found myself in a bit of a dark place trying to figure out who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I also didn't reach out for help until I absolutely needed it.
Yep.
And I think that's another thing when it comes to mental health and marginalized communities, even for black men in general. It can be difficult at times to reach out for help because, I don't know, something about the culture just makes it seem like we have to be this macho man and just get through it, keep your head up high, don't cry, stand up, don't complain, just keep pushing forward.
And I know
in reality, we need help.
I know it's something that's been like recently, like there's been light shed on it recently, but regardless, it feels as if most times it's easier to not reach out for help.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We feel more, what's the word I'm looking for? It just feels more progressive when we don't reach out and we just handle it and keep moving
Something
forward.
I brought up a little bit in their mental health and marginalized community is I feel as though a lot of that is backed by a model minority stereotype. You have so much stacked up against you, don't add another thing to that list, which I think is what a lot of people maybe get when they think it's like, oh, I don't want to go to a therapist about experiencing depression. I already have like 2 of these things stacked up against me. Why would I add another one to it? That's also going to make people look at me weird. It's that idea that we have to be perfect almost to get recognition, and any like knock on our belt against that kind of diminishes what anything else we could ever do.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting thing, and we can delve into it a little bit more as we take a seat by the campfire. Let's take a moment to slow down, breathe, and reconnect with ourselves. So let's settle in and get comfortable by the campfire. So I
Jordan, I just gotta say that was a smooth transition.
She's been getting really good. She's been getting
that.
really good at her transitions.
Thank you.
And I gotta say, no boast to myself, but she's learned from the best. All right.
Ren did help me a lot with learning transitions when we were in WIT together.
Respect game.
Yeah, but like I was saying, I don't know if you guys agree, but that's definitely from what I've seen. My little brother, he is Carrollton football. He got scouted for their team, actually.
Oh, yeah, so he's real deal.
Yeah, he's real gifted. And something that I do worry about is him hitting that burnout and not feeling like he can go to people about it. Because like I said, you have that model minority almost intention in your brain. And like, even if you don't think about it, and I don't know if it's ever been presented as an idea to both of you guys, but the way that I see it is that in the back of your head, there's already so much you can do wrong. You could be walking down the street. You could be going to the gas station. You could be driving home from practice. There's already so much that people could see you doing wrong with. Don't add depression or anxiety or ADHD or autism or anything like that to that list, because that's just another notch on the belt.
Yeah.
And I do want to jump in real quick and just define the model minority stereotype that you were talking about, because I'd never heard that used before, so I just went ahead and looked it up. So I wanted to clarify for the listeners and viewers as well. So this can just be a harmful stereotype that portrays a certain group of people in a certain light. And the kind of example that they've cited here is Asian Americans as inherently high-achieving, hard-working, and successful in education and income. So I thought it was very interesting. I love the fact that you tied that into the general conversation, because that directly relates.
Yeah.
Those kind of things prevent us from often reaching out for help. And Davin, you mentioned it a second ago, mental health has become more important to people now, but even then it can still be very difficult to reach out for that help because we've been raised to get through things on our own. And obviously being independent is huge, but you also have to know when to reach out, and that can just be extremely difficult.
And it's almost like for us to be strong is to kind of face adversity and keep moving. There's no room for breaks in that.
Right.
And as we face adversity and we continue to move, each wall we break past is a foundation we build for ourselves. And it's almost as if when we take a break, we lose a bit of that foundation. And that's why I said it might be easier sometimes to not reach out. You know, it's cool to have little help along the way, but from my point of view, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but from my point of view, it feels easier to not reach out. You know what I'm saying? To not ask for help, just to do what I need to do and keep on moving forward, because I know if I can continue to do that, when the worst comes to worst, I'll still be able to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's a bad mind state to be in. I'm definitely working on it, but
It's part of the journey.
it is.
It is part of the journey. It's something that I feel like is embedded in a lot of us, especially growing up. Like Richard, you mentioned before, especially with black men, the like boys don't cry mentality, or like especially when it comes to black men, you guys have a lot more stacked up. You guys have a lot of stuff stacked up against you for simply existing. Something that I also want to bring up is it is a joke in black communities, especially in marginalized communities, of like, oh, you think you're depressed, go to press those dishes. Something like that. And it's a joke. And we laugh at it. It's a very funny joke.
I shouldn't have laughed.
It's a funny joke.
No, it is.
But it's reality.
Yeah.
It's
Press those
you,
dishes.
and there's no cap on mental health. That's why there are depression, and it's very unfortunate suicide rates, especially in very young children. Like, I've read cases from two children who are as young as 8 or 9. There's no cap on mental health. And because of that, but because of, I think, the embedded mentality that we have so much stacked up against us, why would you add another thing to that list?
Yeah.
We try and push it down, because if at the very least you're going to work, you're going to school, you're going to practice, you're getting that award, you're making that A, what could you possibly be upset about?
Yeah.
And you can't be upset about it, because then it's like, it's just right there in your face that you're failing, you're falling behind, you're looking bad in some capacity. But it starts young, especially. It starts young, especially with helping a lot of people boost themselves in some way. Like, for instance, Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help produce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We are collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Get today by visiting thewolfuwg.com/book drive. That's thewolfuwg.com/book drive.
Another smooth transition.
That was so smooth. Look at that.
Thank
Straight
you.
into the book drive,
And
and
you
you
kn-
didn't mess up.
And you want to know what else is smooth? This music we have coming up. Something that I would like to bring up that we kind of talked about on the break is the tail end of the conversation that we had during the last segment about the model minority and Black struggle. And we talked a little bit about it, about how Richard brought up very well how Black struggle is such a focus of our culture, and it's kind of become a foundation of our culture. And because of that, it piggybacks off the whole like model minority thing. How like for instance in Davin's situation where it's like you're an athlete, you're experiencing burnout, and it's like, but you already have so much. You've done so much. You have some. For me, I was privileged. I grew up in the suburbs. I went to private school. By all accounts, I'm not ashamed of that. My mother worked very hard. My family worked very hard to get me there. But if you said that to somebody else, it must be like, oh, so you don't know struggle then.
Right,
You're a rich kid.
You were spoon-fed your entire life.
Yeah, you were
What do you
spoon-fed
really
your
know?
entire life. Like, what do you have to worry about? Like, oh, you never have to worry about this. Like, it's like an irony almost sort of thing. It's like we try so hard to be pushed out of that struggle mode because we have a lot of that representation in media of the thug living in the hood, doing gang stuff and drug dealing and all that stuff. And that's usually how Black men a lot of the way are portrayed in media. But when a character comes that isn't that, who's successful, who runs a business maybe, who
It's
maybe
frowned upon.
It's frowned upon.
You
It's
might
like
hear
you're
it-
trying to be white.
Right, you might hear a statement like he's not Black for real.
Yeah,
And-
you're acting white.
Exactly, which is utterly ridiculous if we're just being honest here. And to go back to what you said, you kind of touched on it a second ago, but we really talked about it during the song break. We should have just kept rolling. I love hearing P Power. I like to ride out to it whenever I can. But we really just should have kept the mics on because we had a great discussion. And a large portion of that discussion was about how Black culture is and has been portrayed in media for so long. A lot of the very successful Black movies talk about Black struggle. Like, it is always just struggle, and there aren't as many Black success stories out there. And yes, we do come from struggle, slavery, civil rights era. I mean, it has been a long road to get where we are now. But where we are now is a place where there are Black billionaires out here. There are
Exactly.
so many Black success stories that can be told and that should be and are not currently being told because we are still trapped in this mindset that the struggle is everything. That if you're not struggling, if you weren't a rags to riches success story and you came from a middle class to riches, you ain't Black for real. You ain't really been through that.
Yeah, you've
And I
never really
think-
been through
And I
anything.
think it's ridiculous because, I mean, you're melanated. You look like me, you and Davin. You are Black. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you came from, and that mentality serves as an anchor for the Black community and Black culture as a whole. And at some point, we have to find a way to break free from that and cut the weight loose.
I want to piggyback off of that because something like at the end of the day, whether you're in a suit or you're in a hoodie and sweatpants, you're gonna look the same to a cop
Yeah.
or somebody else on the side of the street. Doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter your position. We've seen it happen to random men walking home from the gas station to men in suits who are lawyers, who are politicians. It doesn't matter. It's like no matter how you dress yourself up, that's where all they're gonna see at the end of the day is someone who's Black, someone who's melanated, someone who's not white. And that's all you're gonna get at the end of it. Which is why, like you said, I find it so ridiculous why it's such like, it's almost a competition for struggle. Like, it's almost like we're competing with each other to see how bad each one of us struggled. And it's like, wouldn't you be happier talking about like, oh, my mom pulled herself up from the dirt, worked really hard, and got to a position where I couldn't say I struggled for anything. I
Exactly.
didn't want for anything. Like, would that not, I think that's also another thing, would you not feel bad talking about like your family that way? Like, I came from nothing, I had nothing, so it's like,
My parents explained it like this. Your parents are supposed to be a springboard for you. They started off at this level, worked their way up here. That way you could spring up from that level and reach even higher heights. And it keeps moving forward. That's the entire goal of it all. You're not supposed to be stagnant. We're not supposed to be in the same place that our grandparents and their grandparents were in. It's not sustainable, and it does not breed success. The only way to have long-term success is to continue pushing forward and continue to pay it forward for the people that are coming next. we have come a long way from talking about track and field.
We have come a long
We've
way,
come a long
but
way.
that's a good thing.
But
We
it's an
should be
important
trying
topic, though.
It
to
is.
we should be trying to spring up, especially people of the next generation, which again, it's why Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to boost literacy rates with our pre-K book drive. Our ongoing book drive will provide a new or gently used book to every child at UWG's pre-K monthly. Get today by visiting the wolfUWG.com/book drive. Together, Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network will make a brighter future. Visit the wolfUWG.com/book drive because, again, we are supposed to be piggybacking and pushing up the next generation, not keeping them down so that they can experience the same struggle that we did. Speaking of, Richard, you said you had another track and field question you wanted to discuss?
Oh yeah, I know we're running out of time here, and it's been a great interview overall. It's been great. I'm a fan of the comfort zone now. But
Thank you.
Join us
Davin,
more often, man.
Join us more often. We should.
I only have a week and a half left here at Wolf Radio, Wolf Sports Network, but maybe I'll come by one more time.
Yeah, you can always come by as a guest. This has been a really great conversation. Davin, I want to thank you greatly for coming on air.
That's been awesome.
Yeah, we've had really good discussions, even though we kind of did split a little bit into mental health and marginalized communities a bit. But I think that
It all connected.
it's all
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it is just a healthy conversation to have because at the end of the day, when people think of black men in like college, right, they think, what sport does he play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Man,
how
you're not wrong whatsoever. I've been asked so many times if I'm an athlete, and I get it. I'm pretty built. I mean, I got pretty good height. When I'm working out consistently, I put on muscle pretty fast, so it makes sense. But the fact that that's just the go-to is
you have to have gotten here because you did something like that. Like are you on a football scholarship, baseball scholarship? It's like I can't just have good grades and be in college.
Right.
It's very interesting how things progress, and I do like that we are taking back a little bit of that black success with movies like Sinners, that portray us at already a level of power, almost, than needing to get ourselves out of the mud, because sometimes that's just the basis, and there's no shame in that. I think today was a really great episode. Really quick, I do want to promote our counseling center. That is free. It's including your tuition. It is also open throughout the summer for the rest. So you can still keep going to the counseling center if you need it. They take walk-ins.
Where's
It's
the
really-
counseling center located?
It's in Rao Hall.
Okay.
First
That's by
floor.
the UCC, right?
Yes, right by the UCC, first floor. You walking through the door, it's right there. It doesn't close until 5. So, of course, they also do virtual visits if you can't do in person. So if you also feel like you're struggling through burnout, anxiety, all that fun stuff, visit our counseling center. Like I said, it's free. It's included in your tuition. There's no shame in asking for help. Remember that you belong here. You're meant to be here for a reason. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here.
What's
at
that
Camp
one
Comfort
thing that
Zone.
Eden always says?
You belong here?
You are exactly where you need to be. You guys have a great night.